What's up, people? We're here for the last installment of what a sellout is. Just to clarify on the last couple of videos, just to clarify a few things. The first one is on the complete sellout. I think when I was saying the magnitude of people, millions of people, when it's on the grand scale, I think there's a lot of people out here as well. I don't want to be harsh about it. I don't want to be harsh. What I'll say to you, try to be politically correct, that some of them are using religion, especially on YouTube, and I don't know if they're always using it in the way it was meant to be used. Just be wary of that. They're kind of using it in a way to hate, and I don't know whether it just doesn't feel right when I hear some people speak like that. So on the magnitude, they're using religion kind of in the wrong way, and people out there know what I'm talking about. The second subject of marriage, remember I was saying to you that you should never grab a woman that's married. The reason why I would say that's a complete sellout is you got to think of it this way, is that there's guys out there that they're sellouts anyway, and they're what I've described this video is about, the simple sellouts. They're basically simpletons, really. They're simple sellouts because basically they put their heart and soul into some woman, and they obviously didn't do their homework. They weren't in the relationship long enough, because I'm not one to preach that all women are evil. When I do my MGTOW video, believe me, it's not on all women are evil. Evil is in man, which means that you can't escape evil. Regardless of where you are, you can't escape it. It's in man, it's in woman, it's in dogs, it's in cats, it's there, and it's up to us to try to fight that. It's a constant battle. But yeah, when you're going for a married woman, there's certain guys out there that they've chose a certain woman, and I hope it wasn't down to vanity, because then you deserve it, basically. And they're working their butts off to provide this kind of fantasy world that the woman wants, this material world that she wants. And while they're working hard, their women are cheating on them with God knows how many men, And if they didn't have these jobs in the first place, the woman wouldn't give them the time of day, And I'm not going to be one of those guys. No woman's going to punk me in a way where she's having her cake and eat it too. It's just not going to happen, And I wouldn't. And guys, this is why I see it as a complete sellout, level 2, category 2, is because you wouldn't want to be in that situation where you're working your ass off, maybe even 2 jobs, and while you're working hard, your woman really that should be working as well is out there working in a different kind of way, if you know what I mean. And you're one of those guys, and then when it happens to you, you want to cry about it like a little. So that's what number 2 was about. Okay, right, so now let's get back to the last thing I'll say on the category 2 of complete sellouts is, remember I talked about slander comes into that as well. People that slander, you're definitely selling yourself out there. That's category 2. It's not a major sellout, but it's definitely a complete sellout, because like I said, slander can cause wars and it can cause people to die. Think about what you're saying sometimes. When you're passing on something or you're saying something, if you don't know, just say, listen, I don't know. You have to check with the guy, or or I didn't mean to say that, I wasn't supposed to tell you that, but I don't know, you check it out yourself. Do it diplomatically, because sometimes maybe you've had a couple of drinks or whatever reason, or maybe you're just really angry and you want to win the argument, and you say something to provoke a reaction at the person, but that's selling yourself out, So alright, let's move into the last example now of simple sellouts. So we all sell ourselves out, basically. So a simple sellout would be, although people would disagree and say maybe that's a bit of a kind of, that's a complete sellout really, look, is money. Money is the root of all evil. So it could be your friend's really down and out and everything else, and they come to you and they say, please lend me money. And it's got nothing to do with my friends, because my friends, if they had their choice of sellout drug, then it wouldn't be money. My friends, mainly, it's always been women. It's women that have caused them to kind of, lose their dignity, you know, their pride, you know, their souls really, to be honest with you. But it's never been money, you know. But money, if a friend comes to you and they say they're down and out, and you give them the money, and then all of a sudden they don't want to pay it back. Now, in some situations, your friend may not remember. You know, I've been in situations where I didn't remember. A friend did ask me a few times when I went out, "Oh, Luke, have you got my money now?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll give it to you when I went to the bank." And then I forgot again, and he's like, "Look, you got my money." But it was only a small amount of money. It wasn't big. It was like £5, you know. And this is going back a good 20 years ago at least. So it wasn't a big amount of money. I just forgot. You know, I just did not remember. It wasn't me trying to purposely, you know, I forgot. But yeah, so where was I going with this? So with money, sometimes you forget, but if you know you have to pay someone back the money, you know. Me personally, I'm one of those people where I find it hard to sleep at night. You know, I can't deal with bills and debts and things like that. I can't have bailiffs banging on my door. And I can just sit back in my house comfortably and say, "Oh, no, that guy's an idiot, man. Don't worry about them, no, go." It really stresses me out. You know what I mean? It really stresses me out. I have to pay people back their money. And it's not because I'm afraid of them. You know, whether my friends were 2 foot tall or 10 foot tall, they're all the same. You know, I have to pay you back the money. I'm not going to pay someone back money because I'm scared of them. I'm paying you back money because I'm a decent person, and that's what we do. So things like money will cause people to sell themselves out. But more simple sellouts, I wouldn't put them in the category of a complete sellout or a major sellout. There's more or less simple sellouts. What would be another example of a simple sellout? A friend really, I think if you're going out on the street with a friend, you know, I mean, cultures are all different. You know, I'm not going to get into what particular culture this is, but there's some cultures where you're going out with a friend and they have a couple of beers and then they start being rude and disrespectful, you know, to you maybe, or saying inappropriate jokes, and to them it's funny, but it's more of a sellout mentality as far as I'm concerned. You know, if I'm walking the street with someone, then that's my bona fide brethren, that's my brother, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect them. You know, you got to look at it this way, guys, is that imagine that you're traveling 100 miles to go to a club, or you know, you're going on vacation or holiday to some place. You know, you're not going all the way out there to be putting each other down and dogging each other. And you know, a simple woman walks in the room and all of a sudden now your friend changes, and now all of a sudden he's trying to impress that girl, or it could be the vice versa. You know, your girls and some guy walks in the room and all of a sudden she's, you know, it's kind of like the complete category 2 of a complete sellout. You're suddenly changed now, and you're trying to impress that person, and it's a sellout mentality. If you're walking the road basically with a friend, it should be a bona fide friend. You know, you're a pack, you're a unit. You know, you should be able to travel any place in the world. You're not going to travel halfway across the road with someone that's a sellout. That doesn't have your best interests at heart. Because that's what the root of all of this sellout is that someone that doesn't have your best interests at heart. They're mainly focused on themselves. They don't give a damn. But how we're all simple sellouts is that, look, let's face it, when we go to work, some of us are working in jobs where we just don't want to do it. We don't want to work. You know, the people around us are just stressing us out. We're not being paid enough. We're seeing things in our own eyes that's just so wrong, and we want to do something about it, but we can't. We have to feed our families. You know, the Bible says make use of idle hands, which means we're not put on this earth just to sit down and laze around. You know, some people will say, "Look, but that's all you do and all of that." No, I suffer from mental health, and believe me, I'm trying my hard. I couldn't try. In fact, I've tried so hard that my mental health even got deteriorated. I'm trying my hardest. If you give me something that I've got many issues basically that prevent me from working in certain environments, but I work as a personal trainer. I'm starting to become a sports massage therapist. So I'm trying my hardest. I'm never idle. I'm always trying to push myself. But sometimes we're put into jobs where the people around us are just maybe even tolerating racism at work. You know. And it kind of beats you down. So we all have to, to a certain degree, sell ourselves out when we go into certain roles, communities, and all those kind of things. We'll tolerate certain things that we know in our heart we wouldn't tolerate if it was outside. It'd be a different kind of ball game, kind of thing. We all do those things. So to a certain degree, we all do that. Some of us have family members, but it's family. Blood is thicker than water, man. That's just how it is, and we have to protect them. With me, there's only a certain level of protection that I'll give to my family. If I've got someone that I know, my sister or brother has done something that I know is 100% wrong, then it kind of changes the game. I can't just suddenly say, well, boy, it doesn't make a difference what it is. Come, let's go, blood. Let's call up Jamal. We'll go down here and just do it. And when I know that my family member is wrong, what they've done is just 100% wrong, it changes things. It's like, but you're in the wrong, man. I can't. I can prevent drama from kicking off, but I can't do anything because you're in the wrong. You know what I mean? So family sometimes cause us to kind of, sell out a little bit, because sometimes we have to do things on behalf of them, and we know that it's not always right, but we have to do it anyway. So we all sell out to a certain degree. But the three examples that I've given you, I could think of more simple ones that aren't really sellouts, but you're kind of getting the gist of what I'm saying. With money, I would say to people, the reason why money isn't a complete sellout or a major is that money is the root of all evil, and I'd rather lend someone £200, maybe even £1,000, and them not pay it back, and I know that after 10 years that they were never really real friends, or your exposure has cost me £1,000, but at least it hasn't cost me my marriage, it hasn't cost me my mum, sorry, not my mum, it hasn't cost me my woman that I've married, that I have kids with. You haven't sold me out on that kind of level. You know what I mean? You haven't got one of my, it hasn't been a major sellout where you've got someone that I know close to me, one of my nieces or nephews, addicted to drugs. It hasn't been. So money in my eyes is more of a simple one. Your friend really has done you a favor. They've exposed you for $100. They've exposed themselves for $100. $100 is what it was to expose them, and you move on with your life. You'll find a better friend. Blah blah blah. That's how I look at it. So money is more of a simple one. Yeah, your friend should have your best interests at heart. Listen, we all have a laugh with each other, man. We're not all robots. We don't walk into a room and say, hello, thank you, I would like a cup of tea, please, good night. We're all going to have a laugh with each other, say little insults here now and then. That's just, as human beings, that's what we are. We've got to have a laugh, man. That's just how it is. But, if I know that when I mention your, I know that you've got a big toe and you've always been insecure about it and things like that, I'm not always going to be throwing those things in your face. That's a simple sellout, moving on to a kind of a complete sellout, that's me. If I'm getting kind of, I'm using that, whenever I'm losing an argument, I'm using that as a way to kind of, to silence you, because I'm not, because I'm wrong in the argument and I don't have anything to come back on. Some people basically they just want to be right, and they use whatever means necessary. But that's a sellout mentality, man. Because if you're wrong, you're wrong. You know what I mean? You don't suddenly. If I'm having an argument about biscuits, you're not going to mention my toe, which I've always been insecure on, and I go silent, and it really hurts me. I've tried to get operations on it. You're not going to mention that in order to win the argument. You're going to debate it properly, naturally, as men. You know what I mean? But anyway, you're getting the gist of what I'm saying. We all do it, but really you should have your best in people's, your friends, your family's best interests at heart. If you walk in the street with someone, it should be someone that's bona fide. Otherwise, you shouldn't be walking the street with them anyway, because that's the sellout mentality. I would class it as more of a, would it be a complete sellout? I would say, if I'm walking the street with someone, for example, and I don't really care about them, and I'm wishing bad on them, which I said in one of my videos is kind of like witchcraft. You're wishing bad on someone, it may happen. The Bible says always have positive thoughts. And maybe a fight kicks off and I stand back and I watch them. You can choose what category that would be in. You know, it's not a major sellout because it's not on a grand scale. So it'd either be a simple one or a complete one. But anyway, guys, I hope you kind of get the gist of what being a sellout is about. And that will and I'm glad I got this out of the way, to be honest with you. I needed to get out of the way. I think I've kind of explained enough about it and how I feel, so how my mind works. And I will see you I may do one more video before the MGTOW, but yeah, you won't be seeing me on here as frequently, but I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I'll see you around for another one. Peace.